guys, and welcome back to the Moldyworm Gaming channel. My name is Moldyworm41975, and today I'm playing some GTA 5. Now, today in Grand Theft Auto Online, Rockstar did release 3 new vehicles, one of which I am driving now. And if you play online, then you can probably guess what car this is. It's rather small. But today they released the Sea Sparrow helicopter that returned from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. They also released the Flash GT, which is kind of like a Ford Fiesta, Ford Focus type looking vehicle. And they released this. It's really small, parked next to this Granger, but this car is the Weeny Issi Classic. And if it wasn't already clear, this is based off the classic 1970s Austin Mini Cooper. It's also the car that Mr. Bean used, and it's also the car that was featured in the Italian Job. So as soon as I logged on today, I just had to buy this car. I saw it on Southern San Andreas Auto's website, and I just had to buy it and make a video on it, because if you guys didn't already know, the classic Mini Cooper, or the Weeny Issi Classic, is my favourite car in real life. I would really like to own one of these vehicles one day. And now that we have it in GTA 5, it is really cool. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is modifying this Weeny Issi Classic. As you can see from the gameplay, it is actually left stock at the moment. I just bought it and started recording. So I've got this stock Mini. Let's take it into the Los Santos Custom and see what modifications we can add to it. Now, I was going to do 2 builds with this car, but I think I'm just going to go for 1 build, and we're going to make sort of like a classic Mini look. I'm going to build it up how I would like to have my Mini in real life. So just before we get into it, I'm just going to have a little look around the car. Now, you might be able to see this, that the wheels actually stick out from the arches quite a lot, and I'm really happy that Rockstar did that, because there is an arch upgrade that we're going to get into a little bit later on, but I'm really glad Rockstar made them a little bit wider, because when you put the wheel arches on, they fit in the wheel arches really nicely and they don't look lost. Like, sometimes you get some wheels and they just don't fill the wheel arches, and I kind of wish that Rockstar would change that a little bit, so if you put a wider wheel arch on, it makes the wheels like come out a little bit so they fill the wheel arches, but unfortunately we don't have that option. So they've made them nice and wide, which is really good. They look a bit stupid at the minute because they kind of stick out, but when we get those wheel arches on, they'll fit in there nice and snug. So then we have got the sort of hipster style number plate on the front, that European number plate. A lot of the cars added in this Southern San Andreas Super Auto update have had these sort of hipster vibe going on, and they've all had these sort of like European style number plate, and then we just got the classic one on the back there. Now you can tell this is not actually an original Mini, because it only has 1 gas tank, and the original Minis, they had twin gas tanks. But I do like that they've added that little gas tank, that little filler cap thing there, that classic filler cap. That looks really nice. I do like it when Rockstar add these sort of little features. I believe that was added on the Vapid Ellie as well, which was released a few weeks ago, so it's nice to see that Rockstar are doing that. And then around the headlights, I'm not sure if you can see that very well, but there's like a little red ring which goes around the headlights. Not many cars have that feature, so that's quite cool. I'm going to be changing it up because I don't particularly like that, but you know, if you want to go for that option, you've got that option. Now, the one thing I don't particularly like about this car is the wheels. Now, obviously, you can change the wheels, but what were Rockstar thinking with these wheels? These wheels just... I've never seen a Mini with these wheels before. But yeah, so that's the outside. Let's just take a quick look on the interior. It's a very simple interior, just a nice bench seat in the back, and we got a nice simple interior. We've got the wood on there, but there is an option later on to change that, so if you don't like the wood, then you can change that, which is quite nice. I don't particularly like the wood, so we'll probably be changing that. But other than that, it's a really nice car, and there's plenty of customization for this car. I've watched multiple videos on this car, so yeah, let's just get straight into it. So we'll go for full armor because we're building this car up, so we might as well. So this is, not sure if this affects the interior at all. Nah, this does not affect the interior. So we've got that chrome sort of outline going on at the moment, sort of around the windows, and I think it's on the top there as well. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but if I change that, you can see what's changing there. So it goes around the rear lights as well. So it has a similar style to this on the Vapid, on the Dukes, the Imponte Dukes. So that has a similar function to be able to change the trim. So you can have the stock, which is just sort of a classic chrome, which I'm going to stick with, I think. Or you can have a blacked out one if you like the blacked trim there. Or you can have a carbon trim. Looks very similar to the black, but if you're going for that sort of racing look, I guess that looks quite cool. You can have the part primary. So that doesn't make it all primary. Like you can see that around the windows and everything at the moment is carbon. And then if I put this one on, it changes the headlight carbon and the rear light, but around the windows is still carbon. And then you can have the part secondary, which is also red, so that will just stay the same. Or you can have full primary, which will just change that bit there. Or you can have the full secondary. So I'm just going to stick with the stock because I like that. It's I'm going for a nice classic look with this. And that light keeps getting in the way. It's a little bit annoying, that little stick there. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to stick with that just because it looks the nicest. We'll go for race brakes and then bumpers. So we've got a lot of bumpers on this option. So this is front bumpers. So you can have a stock bumper, which is just a nice classic looking bumper, which I'm probably going to go with. Or you can have the secondary bumper, which is red at the moment, which kind of gets rid of the whole bumper there. You can have the carbon one if you're going for that sort of racing look. You can have the painted street splitter. That's another sort of like race one. It has that little carbon splitter on the bottom. I don't particularly like that little splitter on the bottom, because it doesn't like go right to the edges. It's just sort of like a little goatee in the middle. But yeah, you guys might like that. So you can have the carbon street splitter, which changes the bumper to carbon there. You can have the painted street bumper. Yeah, I have seen a kit for a classic Mini like this, but I just really don't like that. It makes it sort of look like a 1980s Mini. Yeah, I don't like that. But you guys might have a different opinion, so I'll just showcase it for you anyway. And then you got the carbon street bumper, which just changes the little bumper there to carbon. And then we've got the painted race bumper, which Ah, okay, so that adds sort of like a little carbon strip to the bottom. So this one was painted, and now it has a little carbon lip. So I guess that looks a little bit better. And then we got the carbon option of that, and we got the sticker bomb. I don't know anyone who actually has a sticker bomb car. Let me know in the comment section if you have a sticker bomb car. I don't see why Rockstar make this sticker bomb option, but yeah, you can go for the sticker bomb option if you want. Now, just while I'm looking at the sticker bomb option, a lot of the cars in the hipster DLC that came out right at the beginning of Grand Theft Auto Online had this sort of sticker bomb option. That's when the sticker bomb option was first released. And about a year ago now, there was a rumoured I'm Not Hipster DLC Part 2, which actually never released. But we've been seeing a lot of these sort of hipster style cars. So like you might remember the Panto that was released in hipster DLC, and this car is kind of reminding me of the Panto. It's like a little fun car with the sticker bomb. And they all had these like weird number plates and really like unique customization. So I seem to wonder whether Rockstar just scrapped the I'm Not Hipster Part 2 DLC and just decided to release all the cars as like drip feed cars, because all these new cars are like very hipster themed, and they all have them like same hipster themed customizations and stuff. But yeah, so we got the rear bumpers. We have the stock rear bumper, which is just a nice classic clean chrome bumper there. And we got the mud guards. I do quite like that. It adds little mud guards on the back and on the front wheels there. You can just see that it adds that little extra bit. So if you're going for sort of like a rally look, I guess that would be quite cool. It would have been nice though if the mudguards were a little bit wider, because they only sort of cover like half the wheel. But it's still cool. I'm glad they added it. Then you can have the carbon bumper, which I guess that actually does look quite cool. If you're going for that race car sort of look, that would be quite cool. And then you can have the carbon one with mudguards. So if you want to have the both of those. Then you can have the race splitter, which adds like a rear diffuser. So if you're going for that full-on, like really rally style look, I guess you could go for that. And then you got that option with the mudguards as well. So I'm not sure whether I quite like this race splitter. Yeah, I'm not gonna go for it, but I don't particularly like it anyway. But this diffuser does actually, the little red bits that stick down, that will change with the secondary colour option, so you can change those. So I think I'm just going to keep it stock. We're keeping it very stock at the moment, so I'm hoping the next upgrade we're actually going to add something. I'm going for that sort of classic original look with this car. So the front, we have the stock chassis. We have the Tourer lights, which just adds those two little sort of fog lights on the front. That's quite nice. I think I'm going to go with that one. I don't think they work though, and the texture on there is just... the texture on those lights is very interesting. It's very 2D. But anyway, you can go for the Tourer lights if you want to go for that. Or you can have the primary rally lights, which sort of just adds a little cover. I'm guessing you can change that with sort of the primary colour of the car, which if you're going for that rally look, I guess that's quite cool. You can go for the secondary option as well with that. Oh, and then this, so you've got the first three affect these lights on the front, and then the next ones affect the interior of the car. So we have the carbon street interior. So this is what I was saying before, where if you don't like the wood, you can change it to this carbon one. So that makes it sort of like a race option. You can see it changes the foot pedals in the bottom, and it adds sort of NOS to the steering wheel. It makes all them extra dials there, and it also changes the seat, as you can see there, and it changes the rear of the car. That rear seat still remains the same though. Then you can go for a sticker bomb one if you like the sticker bomb, and it does actually change that sort of little middle bit there where the CD player is. And then you can go for the stripped race interior. So that's like for a really modern kind of racing. And that gets rid of the back seat, and it adds a roll cage as well, the padded roll cage, and it also adds these extra seats with the seat belts there, and it adds a few little extra dials and stuff. Yeah, and it also gets rid of them gauges and gives you an electronic gauge, but because I'm going for the classic look, I don't particularly like that. So I think we're just going to go for the Tourer lights, just nice and simple, and we'll upgrade the engine. Then we go on to exhausts. So we got this little exhaust down here in the bottom. That's kind of cute. So we have the signal replacer exhausts. So that gets rid of the turn signals and replace them with. I've never seen that customization in a car before. That's kind of unique. I quite like that actually. I'm not gonna go with it, but it is quite cool. If you go into that race car, I guess that would look quite cool. Oh, and then you've got a titanium version of that. That's quite cool. Okay, then you have the boot cut option, which it cuts a little hole in the boot, and it has a twin cut one. And then you got the carbon option of that, and the cased option. Oh, then we have a side pipe option. Yes, I do like that. That is pretty cool. If you're going for like a hot rod vibe, that'll be quite cool. And I do know there is actually a hood option where you can add a blower. So if you had the blower and the side pipes, that would look really cool. So you got that option. You got the big tip, carbon big tip exhaust. So that changes the whole boot to carbon. Gets rid of all that sort of classic look and just puts like a carbon panel there and adds a big exhaust, and that adds another big exhaust. And then you've got the quad carbon exhaust, and that's it. I'm not too keen on these last three here, or these last ones here. These carbon big ball ones, I don't like them. I do really like the side pipe option. That's really cool. These boot cut ones are quite cool. They look very classic. I do like the turn signal ones as well. But I think we're just going to keep it stock because it's not too crazy. But I would have liked an option like the twin boot cut one. I do like that, but I wish there was an option like that that wasn't in the boot. It was just under the car like a normal exhaust in the middle. That would have looked quite cool, sort of like a classic Ferrari exhaust, like just a little double one in the middle. But unfortunately we don't have that option, but still some really cool exhaust options there, depending on your preferences. We're not going to go for explosives. So fenders, this is where we get to add them wide wheel arches. So we have the primary street arches. As you can see at the back, that looks a lot better, and you can actually see that the wheel fits in that arch really nicely, and it improves the look of the car so much with them little extra wheel arches. It gives it a bit more of a classic look. Like you see it here, it kind of looks like a stripped down hot rod, and then you add these, looks nice and classic. So you got the primary ones, you got the secondary ones, which is just the same at the moment, or you can have carbon ones if you're going for that race car sort of vibe. And you can go for the sticker bomb ones if you want the sticker bomb ones. And then we've got the same ones but bolted on. So it has the little rivets in there. So I guess if you're going for a race car vibe, then bolt-on ones would look quite cool as well. And then we got a secondary option and the carbon option and the sticker bomb option, but you can't really see the rivets with that one, so it's a bit pointless. But anyway, then we got the wide arch ones. Now this kind of makes me think of a, yeah, it doesn't really fit with that rear bumper very well, because if you look at these sort of ones, it tucks in nicely and sort of meets with that rear bumper, but these just look a little bit homemade, and yeah, it doesn't really fit with the front one either. These sort of remind me more of like a 1980s, 1990s Mini. They had a lot wider arches like this. But we've got the primary, secondary and carbon and sticker bomb version of those wide ones there. So I'm going to just go for the nice simple primary street arches there, just nice and classic look. Then we got the grille. So at the moment we've got the stock grille, which looks quite nice. We've got the stripped down grille, which sort of just gets rid of all those lines and just gives us like a nice simple grille. And then we've got a carbon grille, so that's like the original one but it's carbon. And then we've got a painted one, that's quite nice. Then we have a vertical chrome grille. Okay, I guess that looks quite nice, it's kind of like a classic one. And we got the carbon and painted version of those. Then we have the classic one, classic grille in chrome, carbon and painted, and that's it. So I'm not sure which one to go with here. I don't think I particularly like this classic one very much, or do I? That classic one actually does look like very like a classic Mini, but I don't know whether I particularly like it. The stock one is also a little bit weird. I was going to go for the stripped down one, but seeing that now, it does look a little bit peculiar. I think I might. The carbon stock grille looks quite good. No, I don't like the painted one. The vertical ones also look quite nice. I think I'm gonna go for the carbon stock grille. Yeah, because the stock one is like quite in your face with the chrome. And then I do like the stripped down one as well, but I don't think that particularly works that well. So the stock carbon is just sort of like the stripped down one, but it does have like a little bit over the top. So it just adds that like little bit of texture, which is quite nice, but it's not too in your face. So I'm gonna go with that one. Then we move on to the hood, or the bonnet as we call it in England. So we have the removed engine. That is pretty cool. I don't mean the removed option, I don't like the removed option, but the engine, look how much that engine is shaking. That's just crazy. And we got the timing belt on the side, the little fan belt there, that's going round and round. So Rockstar have done a nice job with this engine. It looks really detailed. I like it when it has like moving parts, it just adds a little bit of character to the car. And I don't believe that Rockstar have used this engine before, so it's a completely new engine design, and I like that it wobbles a little bit. That also is quite cool. So Rockstar have done a nice job with this engine. So we have the remove option, the secondary hood option, which also does remove, there's that little chrome strip down the middle, it gets rid of that, so if you don't like that. And then there's the carbon option if you're going for that race car look, and the sticker bomb option for the numpties who like sticker bomb in their car. And we have the pyramid grille hood, so that adds this little like pyramid thing on the left hand side there. I guess that's kind of cool, and it also adds some little carbon hood catches on the back. And we have this slot grill, which adds kind of like a little extra bit to the grill. And we also have those carbon hood pins as well. And then we've got the hold grill hood, which is kind of good if you're going for that race car vibe, I guess. And you've got the vanity hood, which moves the carbon hood catches to the front, and it gives you that little glass thing so you can see the engine. Although you can't really see much of the engine from there. You can more just see the battery in the back, but okay. Then we got the scooped option, which adds that little scoop on the in the middle there, and it has the hood catches at the back, and it adds this sort of like extra little pyramid thing on the front. Well, then we got the performance hood. That's kind of like an extreme race car sort of vibe. That looks kind of cool. It's like a combination of a few different hoods, which is cool. And we got the exposed air filter. That light is like really in the way. So we've got an exposed air filter hood, which has them pyramid things on the front, has the air filter sticking out, and it has the hood catches at the back there. And we got the exposed tri filter hood, which also adds the little grill bit at the front there, and it gives us the air filters in the middle there, obviously. Oh yeah, then we have the blower hood. So I actually forgot about this one. So if you want to make it a little hot rod, yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the Rhapsody. The Rhapsody's like, that was added in the Hipster DLC update, and it's kind of a little compact car, and that also has a blower on it, so that's kind of cool. Could you imagine something like a Panto with a blower on? That would be quite crazy. And that also has the carbon hood catches at the end there, and it also adds some little catches down by the grill there, you can just see at the bottom. So I think I'm just gonna once again go for the stock, because I quite like that little chrome strip down the middle. It looks quite cool. But as we'll see later on with the liveries, there is actually a pocket hot rod livery, and so you could have the pocket hot rod, the blower, and then the side pipes for the exhaust, and you could make like your own mini hot rod, which I guess is kind of cool. I do like that Rockstar did go a little bit crazy with this car and added that option, so if you want to go for that. We got the horn options, just going to keep it standard there, and the lights. Yeah, when it comes to classic cars in GTA, I collect classic cars, so nearly all my cars in GTA are classic cars. I do own a few supercars, but not many, and I just find with not all, some classic cars do suit the xenon lights, but a lot of the like classic hot rods and stuff, and the muscle cars, they just suit the stock headlights, because they're sort of these like old like lamp ones. So like the xenon ones are like LED type lights, so like on posh cars they look quite good, but like on classic cars the stock headlights look a little bit better, just because, yeah, they just look a little bit more old-fashioned. They sort of suit the style of the car a little bit better, so I'm just going to keep those stock. Then liveries. Okay, this is where it's at. So we've got the classic Weeny, which I really like. This classic Weeny, it just sort of adds that little pin striping all around. We've got a little pin stripe around the edge there, and it also says Weeny on it, and we got a stripe that goes along the hood, and it says Weeny on the back as well. That's a really nice livery, really like that one, just for that sort of classic look. Then we got the white stripes, So if you're going for that sort of Italian job look, you can go for those white stripes on there. And we got the checker fade. That's quite cool. So it adds this little like checker bit along the bottom, and then it has like a really fine checker board on the roof, which kind of just fades. That's cool. And we got the performance weenie, which is sort of like the classic weenie one. It's sort of like this one, but just a little bit more outrageous, and it adds a bit of a thicker, bolder line. I guess that's more sort of like a race car type one. And then we have the track day one, which just adds like a classic little track day livery. It just sort of has the number on the side, and then it has that sort of like little race number thing you can see on the bonnet there. That's a nice little livery there. We have the basic sponsors, which also adds the yellow racing stripes down the middle. That's quite cool, I guess. We got the Arrow Racer, which has the checker fade on the roof, and it has sort of like this grey outline, and it has like a little rocket on the thing. Not a big fan of that one, to be honest. We got the Fin Racer, which also changes the colour of that little bottom section there and around the headlights, and it adds this sort of like go faster stripes. It's sort of like they couldn't decide which go faster stripe to go with on this livery, so they just decided to put all of them on. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting with this. But yeah, it looks a little bit weird with red, but if you had sort of like a green colour and then you put this like livery on, I guess that would look kind of cool. Just not a bad livery, I quite like that one. And then we got the splatter drone one, which kind of just sort of like adds some paint splatters and some drone sponsors, which I guess is kind of cool. And we got the Jacko Racing on the hood. So some of these liveries might look a bit rubbishy with the red. I just bought it in red because it's kind of like a classic mini colour. And then we got the pocket hot rod, which is what I mentioned before, which kind of gives it like a rusted out look, which I guess is kind of cool if you wanted to go for that barn find sort of style. That'd be quite cool. There's a few nice liveries there. A lot of them are very random. I quite like these simple ones, like this one. The basic sponsors and the Arrow Racer I don't particularly like, but the rest are okay. The Fin Racer is a little bit out there as well. Not particularly feeling that one, but it's not bad. If I was going to go for a sponsored one, I'd probably go for the splatter drone. That looks probably the best. But as I'm keeping it classic, I think I might just go for the white stripes on this one. Just sort of them classic racing stripes on there. And then we have the plate. I always just go for yellow and black, and then we've got the custom number plate. So in case you guys don't get it, it's MW Moldyworm and then 41975. Yeah, just okay. And then this is where it gets quite important. The paint colour. So the paint sort of changes the main body that you can see here. What does the secondary colour change? The secondary colour changes around the headlights there. So if I just like flick through them, you can see it changing around the headlights there. Does it change anything else? It sometimes changes the brake calipers, but no, I don't. I think it just changes that bit round the headlights. So at the moment it's red. I'm just going to go for chrome, so it just blends it into the rest of it. So you can see at the moment it's chrome. That's what is stock, and the chrome just blends it in there. I think that looks just the best there. And trimming colour. So that also changed. So the center of the seat there remains grey, and then the rest of it gets changed. So it looks a bit weird at the moment with that red bit. So what I'll just go back and do is change this colour. So I was going to go for, so I guess if you're going to build a Mini up, oh, the number plate I've just noticed as well does change on the front, which is kind of cool. But if you're going to build a classic Mini, probably red or blue. Let's just have a quick look at blue. A lot of classic Minis were blue as well. Yeah, blue goes quite well. Maybe is there a darker blue? Yeah, that's the kind of blue colour that it would be. That looks quite cool. But if I was going to have a Mini in real life, I would have it in racing green. I would have it this colour. So what I'm going to do is actually go for metallic racing green. So let's just find that. Racing green there. Just because it adds that sort of little tint of green in there as well. So you can't quite see that, but if I change this, you can see. Now you could go like outrageous and go for lime green so it really shows up, but I just want it to be very subtle, so I'm just going to keep it on bright green, so it just has that little tint in there, but it's not too crazy. So that looks really nice just there. And then the trim colour, so you can see now it's changed that trim colour to green so it fits a little bit better. And at the moment it's just on graphite. Just a little bit. Sometimes you'd think it would be easy to change this colour on the looking from the inside, but sometimes if you go from the outside and change the colour, that can be quite helpful. So if I just go, let's just have a look what the green would actually look like. So from the outside you could see that's what it would look like. So if you wanted the interior to sort of match the exterior, you could go for that. But I think I'm just going to keep it that stock graphite colour. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it stock at the moment. And then you can add the crew emblem if you want on the side there. Don't really like that one. Then you can go for the secondary roof. So my secondary colour, I had to go for chrome, so it changed that bit around the headlight. But that can affect the roof if you want it to. Or you can go for a carbon roof, but the carbon roof does get rid of them. Does get rid of the racing stripes. Now there is just a little bit on the roof that you can see that still remains there, so that's a bit weird. I wish they got rid of that, but I'm not going to go for the carbon roof anyway, so that's okay. You can go for the wood vinyl roof if you want that really classic Mini look, or that kind of like beach bum kind of look. You can go for the sticker bomb roof if you want to go for the sticker bomb car. Don't like the sticker bomb, so not going to go for that. You can go for the checkerboard roof, which has a very interesting looking texture on there. I don't know if you guys can see this very well watching at home, but the texture that has on it is just very blurry. But nevertheless, it's cool. I don't think any other car actually has the option of a checkerboard roof, so that's kind of unique to this car. And we have the mosaic roof, and no other car has this option as well. So, you know, there's two really unique ones there. I don't think any actually have a vinyl roof either. So there's a lot of unique customization to this car. But I've never seen a Mini with a mosaic roof like this before. I've seen it with the checkerboard, but not with the mosaic roof. It would have been nice if there was like a fine checkerboard, sort of like there is here, and then like a big checkerboard. So it was just sort of divided into 6 checkers. But yeah. Would have also been cool if there was like like with the Dukes, there is the option to have you can have like different flags from different countries on. So like you could have an English flag or whatever. That would have been a bit cool, but at the very least, I think they should have, Rockstar should have added a British flag to the roof. But unfortunately, haven't. So that's a little bit of a missed opportunity there. But I think I'm just going to keep it stock, I guess. Yeah, because if you get any of the other ones, it keeps them little stripes there, and I don't like that. So we're going to just keep it stock. And then skirts. So the skirts only really works if you go for a rear bumper or like a front bumper, because yeah, it extends it. So without that bumper, it just doesn't look right. But if you want to go for that, you can go for the primary lip. So at the moment it's carbon. At the moment I think it's carbon. So you can go for that stock primary lip. You can go for the secondary you can go for the secondary lip skirt there. You can go for the carbon one. You can go for the sticker bomb one if you want that. You can go for the primary street skirt. You can go for the secondary, carbon and sticker bomb. So at the moment I think it's just sort of like a blacky carbon colour. So I'm just going to go for primary so it blends it in a little bit more, because yeah, the chrome doesn't fit with that, no carbon. So we're just going to go for the primary lip skirt. And then spoilers, yeah, we have spoiler options on this little car. So we can probably get some big crazy wing like we can on the Panto. So you can go for the roof rack, you can go for the ski rack. A lot of the hipster cars in the original hipster DLC, they had ski roofs. Like there was only like 1 or 2 cars that could have skis on the roof, and in this new update there's been quite a few that can have this ski rack roof, which is really cool. It's a really unique customization option. So like when it snows, when you get the festive surprise in December and we get the snow, if you put the skis on the roof, that looks quite cool, and it's another unique option. So you can go for that option if you want. You can go for the surfboard roof, which kind of adds that sort of like hipster vibe again. You can go to small luggage, which is really untextured as well at the front. But okay, that kind of gives me like a Mr. Bean throwback. And then you can go for the dovetail spoiler, which just adds like a little carbon split, carbon lip on the back, which is quite cool. And then you can go for the carbon dovetail one. Oh, so this is just sort of a black one, and this is a carbon option. You can go for the low level carbon spoiler, which just really doesn't work because the back of the car sticks out more than the spoiler, so it doesn't really look right. And then you can go for the big wing, which I actually do like. If you're going for the race car vibe or sort of the hot rod vibe, that would look really cool. So you've got that in primary or secondary. I'm not going to add it on this car, but that is cool. Like if you want to go for that option, you've got the option of having a big wing like the Panto. So maybe in the future I might make it and buy another Mini and make a sort of race car vibe and add that on there. But if you want to go for that, that's quite cool. And it also has them like little extensions that go down the back window, which I don't think any other spoilers in the game have. So it's another unique customization option there. And then obviously you got that in the secondary, which I've got as chrome. So that's quite cool. And suspension. So we can get quite a big drop out of the suspension. And it also adds just a little bit of camber. So you can see the wheels on the front at the minute are straight. And then if I drop it, Just adds that little bit of camber there, which is quite cool. I'm going to go for the lowered suspension. I don't know how lowered I want it, because that is quite a big gap between the mudguard there and the wheel. I think if you lower it right down, it looks a little bit weird. So maybe I'll just go for the street one. Yeah, because that just reduces that gap, but it doesn't like slam it. And we'll have the full transmission. Not going to put the turbo on it. I never really put the turbo on my cars. I know it gives you an extra speed boost, but part of the experience of driving the car for me is hearing the engine noise. And when you add the turbo to a car like this, I just don't think it sounds right. And then the final option, well, second to last option we have are the wheels. So you know what wheels you can put on this. Now the wheels on this are really small, so you can add some like really crazy ones like this. But as you can see from the stock wheel, I think it looks best with a thicker rim. So if you look at this, it has like a really fine wheel. I'm trying to think what it's called. It has a name when you have a really like a thicker or thin wheel. I can't remember what it's called. But that's quite thin. So the options you can really go for if you want that thicker wheel are the lowrider wheels. So it does make the wheel slightly smaller, which does annoy me with some vehicles. Like, why can't Rockstar just keep the wheel size the same but change the wheel? So you can go for the lowrider ones, or you could go for the muscle ones. So some of the muscle wheels look quite cool. So if you're going for the hot rod one, you could add these like kind of wheels. Even they look quite cool on this car. I do quite like those. But by far the wheels that best suit this car, I would say, are the tuner wheels. There's so many different options you can go for in the tuner rims. So these are the sort of classic mini looking wheels, the Fujiwara wheels. But all these tuner ones look quite good. I really hate the stock wheels. I just think they look horrible. But also the ones that I really like are these wheels, El Quattro, and then I'm going to paint them black. So you can see already that's looking a bit better. Now because it makes the wheel a bit smaller, I'm actually just going to drop that down one more because it's made that gap a little bit bigger. So that looks okay at the moment. And then window tint, obviously you can make it limo so you can't see it at all. It looks quite nice like that, but I like to just put a little bit of light smoke. Just makes the car look a little bit more mean, if you want to say that. But I guess this car also looks quite good, just light. I'm going to put that light smoke on there. And yeah, that's basically this build done. So I kept it very stock. You can go for some really crazy looks for this car, but personally I just quite like that simple look. So yeah, that's the vehicle done. I just want to go back quickly and have a look at the interior. I can't remember, I think I was in chassis. So that's the problem that you get. If you want to go for this car, if you want to remove the wooden paneling, you could go for the carbon street interior, which, yeah, it does look really nice. I like the interior, but it will remove the lights on the outside. So you can't have lights and change the interior. which is a bit of a shame. And also I've just noticed if you go for these like race interiors, it does also change the colour of the mirrors. So as standard, I think they change with the secondary colour option. So if we just go for secondary, does that change them? No, it doesn't change. So stock, they're chrome, but if you go for the chassis ones, if you go for these street ones, it changes them to carbon. It's only a minor thing, but I like them as they are. So let's just take this thing out of the Los Santos Custom, and let's just give it a little drive, because this is a really nice little car. I'm so glad that Rockstar added this to the game. Thank you so much, Rockstar. It's my favourite car in real life, and I've been waiting for Rockstar to add the classic Mini to the game, the classic Weeny Issi. My first car that I ever purchased, or the first car that I ever owned in GTA 5 was the Weeny Issi, and I still own that car. Multiple times I've thought of selling it, and I just can't bring myself to do it because it's my classic Weeny, on my old, you know, my Mini. It was my first ever car that I owned. And now that they've added the classic variant of that car, I'm just so glad. Makes me very happy. So that is the Weeny Issi Classic. I'm sorry that this video was so long, but I really wanted to just showcase this car off to you guys, because it is a part of me that I really like. That sounded really weird. But I really like the classic Mini, and now that Rockstar added it, I just felt like I had to make a video on it for you guys. And if you want to see me do a few more of these sort of car builds, then make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you want to support this video by leaving a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the support you guys are giving me. And I'm sorry that I haven't made any videos recently. I am currently in the process of doing my GCSEs, so there won't be any videos, there won't be many videos being released at this point, but when it gets to the summer, I'll have many weeks off from school and I won't have anything to do, so I'm going to be making a video every week or so for you guys. So if you can just hold on till the summer, then expect a load of videos then. I've got the lights on there for you guys. The main beams on these, it's a shame that the main beam doesn't come on with those little Tourer lights, but yeah. But that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.